Excited about the win. It's nice to just kind of be at the halfway mark and be able to kind of look back and see kind of what we've done and what's left to do. But proud of the girls tonight. I think you should look at the stat sheet for us, just having 5 people in double figures and 18 assists, just sharing that basketball. Just has been great chemistry for us out there. Still things to clean up, obviously, but it's been a good run for us thus far.
Really, for either of the players, Coach was touching on the stats. Do you guys feel like this was maybe your most complete game of the season?
I don't know if it's our most complete game, but I feel like as a team, like we were confident. We were just sharing the ball really well, so it worked well for us. Knowing a team like UNC is very physical, so just make sure we're getting it to the hot hand and the open hand at that point. A lot of good drives and kicks and dump offs. So,
what she said.
Nikki, this you on that.
You had a tough loss down in Durham. Come back and gotten 2 good wins, even though there were some tense moments against Virginia Tech. What was the key to kind of bouncing back from that?
Just refocusing on what we wanted to do for our short-term goals and our long-term goals. And our short-term was just to beat UNC, and we came out with the win. So.
Coach, third time in ACC play, you guys have scored 20-plus in the first quarter. Today, you guys scored the most against an ACC play, 27 points. Have you guys put more focus on a hot start, maybe scripting plays early in the game or anything like that?
No, honestly, we're just trying to get the ball from side to side and see what they give us. It's not, we haven't called I don't think, a ton of quick hitters in the first quarter, just trying to get a rhythm to see how people are going to defend kind of our continuity offenses. So we've probably been spending more time doing that than anything. But out of the continuity, there's just a lot of different reads. So working particularly on the different reads that we might see depending on how people are playing us has probably been more of a focus of ours.
Joanne, you get to the halfway point, tied for first in the league.
Woohoo!
The back half, you've got a number of ranked teams.
Yes.
What will be the key kind of hitting that home stretch to keep this going?
For me, it's kind of, we've talked about it. To me, it's all going to be in the details. When we do 4 things well, when we rebound the basketball, when our transition defense is on point, when we have great effort, when we communicate, and when we win the 50-50 balls, we're in every game. So we're going to have to do what we've been doing and take it up a notch and be consistent in all of those categories, I think. I think there's a lot of confidence in this team just to know that we have the ability to be in and win every game. But it's going to be a fight because, like you said, the meat of the season is coming down the stretch.
Joanne, just to go out and take care of business the way they did tonight, that hasn't always been the case here. What's it like just to see that?
It's great because they've just matured. It's just a team that has been maturing since last year, all through non-conference, all through the season. Ebb and flow, doesn't matter. You watch our games and sometimes got great leads and people make a run and we can just cut it off at whatever point we need to cut off. And we've been in just different situations, and I think this team has really shown a level of maturity this year to handle the different scenarios that have been presenting themselves throughout the games because they've all been different.
Lauren, since you started coming off the bench, you're a different player offensively. Do you feel like watching the first couple of minutes kind of gives you a sense of what the defense is trying to do to you? Yeah,
it's a totally different perspective. I get to see how they're playing Fee. Obviously, we're 2 different players. However, I can still see if they're looking to front us on the post or even how they're guarding on pick and rolls. So it's just been a different perspective, and it's coming to my advantage, obviously. So it's different, but I'm enjoying it.
And Lisa fed you several times tonight. Have you two kind of worked individually in practice to kind of get that chemistry down?
The whole post group has kind of worked together, just making sure that we're looking for our post buddy at all times, especially in the high post. So she looked at me, she saw me down there, and she got it to me.
Lauren, you had that 3-point play against Virginia Tech late, which kind of broke the game open at the end. Has there been a carryover for you from that play at all?
I think it's just a different approach. You have to have a different mindset, especially late game situations. Everything has to be on point. Catching the ball and then finishing strong. Just expecting contact but not always getting it is something that I have to keep in mind. And then for this game, I guess I just making sure that I keep my eyes up on the backboard. Coach Frett talks about it a lot, just making sure that I'm calm and I'm getting my eyes up and the ball away from the defender. So I've just been working on little things like that with her, and it's paying off. So.
Joanne, back here again, just having some depth Again, what is that like? How has that impacted this team? Just the different lineups you can throw at people.
Yeah, over the course of the time I've been here, the last 2 years have been the most that we've been able to really use. And like you look at the stat sheet tonight, nobody played over 30 minutes. We have to go on the road on Sunday, and I think that'll pay some dividends for us. But like you said, not only the depth, but the different lineups that we can use now that Mo's healthy and coming back. It's been fun, and it's just being able to like chess match a little bit and throw different pieces at us, put people in the buzz, put them in different spots. It just depending on what other teams are doing. So it's definitely been a help to us this year. And I think the great thing about it, it's tough to get, I think, great chemistry with 9 players. I mean, it's hard to get chemistry with 9 players, and they have worked really hard to be very unselfish with each other this year.
Lauren, how about just from your perspective, playing on a team that runs this deep compared to a couple of years ago when that wasn't the case?
I think it's great because it's really hard for teams to kind of guard us. And like Coach has said time and time again, at any given night, it could be anybody's night. And like tonight, we have 4 or 5 people in double figures. So it just makes us harder to guard, and it's better for us because now everyone has more experience because they're getting more playing time, especially starting in pre-conference play. We were able to get that experience, especially against top teams. So now it's really paying dividends.
What about just health-wise, and not playing quite so many minutes and being relied on quite so much?
It definitely helps me, and I could talk for other people. I think it just allows us to just rest for a little bit, get our minds together, get our bodies together, because a lot of emotions during games, and you kind of just get to sit back and be like, okay, next play. So I think it's good mentally and physically.
Coach, Aaliyah is another player who's just different since the first month of this season. What do you attribute that to, and how important has that senior leadership been down the stretch?
I think it's being a senior and being consistent and being confident. And, for Lauren, too, but for Leah, she's played a lot of different roles in our team. Last year she started, she didn't start this year, so she's played. And I think this year she's just kind of taken it to another level, and it's just been really consistent. As a senior, she knows this is her last year. Again, just another cog in the wheel when it comes to chemistry and really sharing the ball. But I think what she's doing a great job is just taking what people give her. And she's very confident, this year. I mean, her shooting ability, her pull-up, being able to drive to the basket, and her defense is better this year, too.
Speaking of confidence, Tinsley is shooting a lot more, especially tonight. What have you seen out of her so far in the last maybe month of the season?
With first years or freshmen, just every game underneath their belt just gives them a little bit more experience. So I thought she's done a great job. I thought she did a great job tonight on Paris Key because her whole job was don't let her touch the ball. I mean, it was like camp defense, just face guard her, don't let her have touches. And that's tough to do because Paris is a really good player. But I thought Bree's done a great job. And she's just looking more and more comfortable out there.
Dom, obviously you're kind of the top shooter on the team, but what has the addition of Tinsley and JB coming off the bench done for you? Is that kind of taking any pressure off you in that role?
It allows me to get to the wing and get different looks on the offensive side rather than trying to orchestrate the offense. So it just gives me a different look.